Okay, this is more examples of binomial experiments and simulations. They're not necessarily harder, they're just a little more interesting. Uh, this first one's pretty easy. This is binomial because we have a true and false test. So it's two possible outcomes. It's either true or false. The outcome is 1/2, 1/2. You have a chance. And we want to see what the probability is. So, ooh, I just spelled this wrong. Probability. So, probability. Well, you get the idea. So, we're going to get find the probability that when Jason guesses on 10 questions of a true and false test, that he gets exactly 8 correct. So we're going to do like we did. Please watch the previous video because I already talked about the setup for this. We're going to write C, the combination of 10 questions. We want 8 correct. So correct would be 8. False, let's don't do correct. Let's put true. So true is 8 and false is what? You'd have to have 2 false. So you would get you can write this as C, 8, and this would be 1/2 to the 10th. And then you should know that I'll just do this one time. This is 10 factorial over 8 factorial times 2 factorial. So it is, this is 45. So it's 8 times 9 divided by 2. So this is 45 times 1/2 to the 10th. And that would give you 45 over 1,024. Or approximately 0.044. All right. So let's say he gets at most 3 correct. So he's only going to get at most. That means he gets 0 correct. This is a or statement. That means we're going to be adding. So Jason gets 0 correct out of, we're doing 10, not 8. So 10, 0 he gets correct. So true is 1/2. And that would be 0. And false would be 10. Or he gets 1 correct. What's it? 1/2, 1/2 to the 9. Or he gets 2 correct. Remember, these two numbers here should always add up to 10. And that comes from the binomial theorem. Or he gets at most the 3 correct. So the other would be 7. And this equals 1. And this equals 10. But you can put this in the calculator, so it's just going to be 1/2 to the 10th plus 10 times 1/2 to the 10th plus 45, right? Yeah, 45, 1/2 to the 10th plus, and what's this one? This is 10 factorial, 7 factorial, 3 factorial. So that's 10 times 9 times 8 over 6. So whatever that is. So I'm just going to write it as, I don't have 90 times 8 is 720 over 6. So we could just write that out. I'm just going to write the C, 10, 3. So I don't have a calculator with me. So this is 1/2 to the 10th. And when you multiply all that out, you're going to get 11 over 64, which equals, or it's approximately 11 over 64. All right. The next ones are going to be a little more interesting because we don't have this the same probability. A die is tossed 4 times. What is the probability of tossing exactly 2 sixes? So we're tossing it 4 times, and we want 2 sixes. So the probability of getting a 6 we already know is 1/6. All right? And not getting a 6 is 5/6. We've seen that before. All right? So when you multiply all this out, you're going to get 25 over 216, which is approximately 0.116. Okay, a die is tossed 5 times. So 5 times, and we want 1, 3. So that's going to be 1/6 to the first power and 5/6 to the fourth. And again, these two numbers here should add up to this. And this equals 5. And so I wouldn't put this part in the calculator. You should know this one too. So that one's going to be 6. Just make your life easier with that calculator. Anyway, so when you do that, you're going to get 3,125 over 7,776, which is approximately 0.402. All right? Now, here's another one. The probability of Luis making a free throw is 2/3. If he shoots 5 times, what's the probability that he misses them all? Which is the first one. So he's shooting 5 times, and he misses them all. So if he misses it, it's well, you can write these two either way. So a miss is 1/3, and so he misses them all. That's 5 times. And if he gets it, it's 2/3. So that would go to the 0. So the answer there would be 1 over 243. This is easy because that's 1. This is 1. So it's just this. You don't have to even put that in the calculator. All right, the probability that he makes them all. So if he makes them all, that's 2/3, because that's the probability he makes it. And that he misses, it's nothing. And this is 1. This is 1. So this is pretty easy as well. So this is going to be 32 over 243. Now he exactly makes 4. So this would be, he makes 4. So his make is 2/3. And his miss is 1/3. And so he misses 1 and he gets 4. And this equals 5. And you multiply this out, and you get 80 over 243. And again, this one's the hard one. He at least makes 3. So he makes 3 would be 3. So that's 2/3. 3 and 1/3 he misses. Again, these two numbers should match. That's a 2. Or he makes 4. So he makes the 4. He misses 1. And I think we already did this one. We already know that number there. Or he makes all 5. And we already did that one too. I'm just going to write it out. And when you add all this up, you get 64 over 81. So the answer here, 64 over 81. Okay? Now I have one more type problem. Xavier and Savannah play a board game. Find the probability that Savannah wins the game 3/4, and that means Xavier wins the game 1/4. So if they play 5 games, find the probability of each event. So Xavier wins once. So they're playing it how many times? 5 times. Xavier wins once. So Xavier wins once, and Savannah would win 4 times. So that would be Xavier is 1/4, Savannah is 3/4. This equals 5. You multiply that across, and you get 405 over 1024. Okay, Savannah wins twice. So the 2 goes to Savannah. Xavier actually wins 3 here. So this equals 10 times Savannah's 3/4. Xavier is 1/4. And that would be 45 over 512. And we have 2 more, and that's it. I hate these. Okay. He wins at least 2 games. So he wins 2. That means here's 2 he wins. And so Xavier is the 1/4. There's 2. Savannah, therefore, would win 3. Or he wins 3. So that means Savannah would win 2. Or he wins 4. This one's a long one, huh? You could actually go the opposite way. So he wins 4. That means Savannah only wins once. Or he wins all of them. And so I'm just going to put 1/4 to the 5th. Well, 3/4 to the 0 is what? 1. So you really don't need that. All right, this is 10. This is 10. This is 5. And this is 1. So the rest you can just put in the calculator, and you will get 47 over 128. And the last one, it looks like Savannah wins at least, let's say, 3 games. Little typo there. So she wins 3, at least 3. So she wins 3. Savannah's the 3/4. That means Xavier won 2 there. Or, there's your or, Savannah wins 4 games. Or she wins all 5. I can just put 3/4 to the 5th, because 1/4 to the 0, I'm going to put it 1/4 to the 0. And then when you multiply all that out, you're going to get, I believe, 459 over 512. And that's all of the binomial experiments. Once you get used to this, it's very easy. Thank you, and have a nice day.